Murphy's Law is once again in full effect for the Indiana Fever as Sophie Cunningham is ruled out for the rest of the season. So, what does this mean? They signed a new guard. Is Caitlin Clark ever coming back?
The Indiana Fever were finally about to get some good news. Caitlin Clark's return was on the horizon, a beacon of hope in a turbulent season. But in the WNBA, good news rarely travels alone. One single play and one controversial smile that followed didn't just injure a fan-favorite player, it turned the entire mood of the season into a nightmare. Leaving
good news, but the Indiana Fever have announced that Sophie Cunningham will be out for the rest of the season. Just to give a little recap about what happened, basically the Indiana Fever were playing the Connecticut Sun and Bria Hartley. Not shocking that it was Bria Hartley. Bria Hartley is involved in many messes in the WNBA, including recently getting ejected from the Chicago Sky game for getting into it with Ariel Atkins after pushing Becca Allen to the ground. She got into it with Rakia Jackson from the Sparks. She yanked Angel Reese's hair, and I know that there's another one that I'm missing. Anyway, you get the idea. So on August 17th, in the game,
this story is about more than just a torn MCL. It's about a pattern of behavior that viewers have been pointing to all season long. By the end of this video, you will understand why Sophie Cunningham's injury is being called the breaking point for many fans, why Bria Hartley's history is now under a microscope, and what the WNBA's deafening silence on player safety truly
Cunningham's injury. So the Indiana Fever did report tonight that Sophie Cunningham will be out for the remainder of the season with a knee injury. Now, initially, the Indiana Fever didn't even report what the knee injury was. They just said that it would be season ending. However, Alex Filippo, she reported that Sophie Cunningham did tear her MCL and that she would be out for the rest of the season.
The frustration bubbling over online isn't just about one hard foul. It stems from a growing belief that the league's most marketable stars are being systematically targeted, and the people in charge are letting it happen. Fans feel that if you've been watching this season, you already know the league has made what they perceive as zero effort to protect its stars. This incident is just the latest.
Is that it's an ACL, and that would be a very bad thing. Luckily, it was not a torn ACL, it was a torn MCL, which is a ligament on the inside of the knee. It very often happens when a knee is like hyperextended or like hit from the side. And so the Indiana Fever did announce today that Sophie will be out for the rest of the season, but luckily she will make a full recovery to be back for the beginning of next season. But I don't even know who is going to be on the Indiana Fever next season because the 2026 free agency is coming up and the landscape of the whole WNBA is going to look different.
And here's the part that really has fans heated. It's not just that Sophie's season is over, it's that it feels like this was preventable.
She is so effective down low and she can get a lot of people in foul trouble.
When Bria Hartley came crashing into Sophie's knee, you could tell immediately something was wrong. Sophie went down, the crowd gasped, and the replay made stomachs turn. But instead of outrage from WNBA leadership, instead of a clear message saying, "This will not be tolerated," we got crickets, as usual. And that silence speaks louder than anything else. It tells players, go ahead, play dirty, we don't care.
She released a new episode of her podcast where she talked about this injury. So I wanted to just summarize for you guys what she had to say, what the updates are from her. And I'll start with saying, like, she did confirm that it was an MCL tear. She also did confirm that she will be getting surgery on this MCL tear. And an MCL is also something that you don't always need surgery depending on the severity of the injury.
So let's break down exactly what happened. On August 17th, the Indiana Fever were facing the Connecticut Sun in a moment that would change the trajectory of the Fever's season. Sophie Cunningham, a player who had quickly become a beloved figure alongside Caitlin Clark, went down with a knee injury. The player involved was Bria Hartley, a name that is no stranger to controversy in the league.
There are growing concerns that veteran guard Bria Hartley intentionally took out Sophie Cunningham, who's out for the rest of the season with a torn MCL. First off, look at this play. Bria Hartley clips Sophie, sends her down, and then she smiles. That's what set everybody off. If this was just a tough basketball play, fine. But the fact that she smiled after, it seems intentional. But let's be real. This isn't the first time Bria's been in the middle of some drama. She's been in fights before. She has that reputation, and she even liked a post celebrating her being that player. And now there are fans that are calling for her to get kicked out of the league. That's how serious people are taking this. Now I want to hear from you guys. Was this intentional or just a rough basketball play?
Viewers immediately pointed to Hartley's track record this season. There was the incident where she was ejected from a Chicago Sky game after an altercation with Ariel Atkins. She was also involved in physical moments with Rakia Jackson of the Sparks and a highly publicized hair pull on Angel Reese. From a fan's perspective, this history created a narrative that what happened to Sophie Cunningham, the play itself was brutal to watch. Bria Hartley drove towards the basket and appeared to barrel directly into Sophie Cunningham's planted leg. The impact was immediate and devastating. Cunningham collapsed to the floor, and the replay sent a collective gasp through the crowd and across social media. It looked less like a basketball play and more like a collision you'd expect to see on a football field. The Indiana Fever later announced the devastating news. Sophie Cunningham would be out for the remainder of the season with a knee injury. While the team was initially quiet on the specifics, reports later confirmed it was a torn MCL. Sophie herself confirmed on her podcast that she would require surgery, a significant procedure for an injury that doesn't always necessitate it, speaking to the severity of the tear. But here's what truly ignited the firestorm online, turning fan frustration into outright fury. It wasn't just the hit itself, it was what happened in the immediate aftermath. As Sophie lay on the ground, the broadcast camera caught Bria Hartley, and to many viewers, she appeared to have a smile on her face. That single expression became the focal point of the entire controversy. For thousands of fans, that smile was interpreted as confirmation of malicious intent. Social media erupted with accusations, with many claiming it was a deliberate act. While a tough basketball play is one thing, the perception that a player would smile after causing a serious injury seemed to them completely indefensible. This is where the conversation shifted from an unfortunate accident to a potential indictment of a player's sportsmanship. This incident has fans connecting the dots back to the treatment Caitlin Clark has received since she entered the league. They see a pattern of excessive physicality, of cheap shots, and of a league that seems unwilling to step in. Sophie Cunningham, with her energetic personality and all-American appeal, had also become incredibly popular, and many believe that popularity put a target on her back, just as it did with Clark. And in the face of this growing outrage, the response from the WNBA leadership has been what fans have come to expect: complete silence. No fines, no suspensions, not even a public statement condemning reckless play. To the viewers paying for tickets and tuning in, this silence from Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and the league office is seen as a quiet endorsement of the very behavior they find so appalling. This is where the frustration snowballs. The Indiana Fever, now reeling from the loss of a key player, had to make a move. Instead of a signing that might inspire confidence, they brought in 36-year-old guard Shea Petty. No disrespect to the veteran player, but for a fan base looking for a sign of hope, this move was widely perceived as underwhelming and puzzling. To many, replacing the 6'1" versatile and energetic Sophie Cunningham with a 5'7" guard who averaged 5 points a game felt like a step backward. It was a decision that fans interpreted not as a strategic move to win, but as a desperate patch on a sinking ship. The signing only added to the feeling that the season's potential was slipping away. This is where the situation begins to feel almost satirical. While the organization may see value in veteran experience, fans online are questioning the team's direction. It adds to a narrative of questionable personnel decisions that have plagued the franchise, making it seem like there's a disconnect between the front office and the on-court product that fans are desperate to believe in. Looking at the numbers objectively, Sophie Cunningham was a vital part of the team's chemistry. She wasn't just a scorer or a rebounder. She was an energy player, the kind of personality that can lift an entire arena. Her fiery demeanor and on-court toughness gave the Fever an edge and a heart that will be nearly impossible to replace, especially with a roster already struggling for identity. Her connection with the fans was genuine and immediate. In a league desperate to build its audience, players like Sophie Cunningham are invaluable. She possessed the charisma and relatability that turns casual viewers into loyal followers. Losing that connection is a blow that goes far beyond the box score. It damages the very foundation of what the team was building. The statistics suggest a tough road ahead, but the emotional impact is even greater. Caitlin Clark is now set to return to a team that is arguably weaker and more demoralized than when she left. What was supposed to be a triumphant comeback a chance to rally the team for a late-season push, is now clouded by anger, disappointment, and a sense of injustice. From a fan's perspective, this injury feels entirely preventable. They believe that if the WNBA had established a clear standard for physical play at the beginning of the season, when the targeting of Caitlin Clark first became a major talking point, a culture of accountability might have prevented plays like the one that injured Sophie. Instead, inaction has led to consequences. This leads to the uncomfortable question that is now being asked openly online. Has the league allowed a culture of jealousy to fester? A culture where physicality against popular new stars is tolerated, or even subtly encouraged, by a lack of consequences? It's a harsh accusation, but it's born from watching a season filled with moments that have left viewers shaking their heads. Fans are calling out the league, the players, and the leadership. They feel robbed of the chance to see this exciting young Fever team at full strength. They were promised a new era of WNBA basketball, headlined by dynamic stars like Clark and Cunningham. Instead, what they feel they're getting is a lesson in how a league can fail to protect its own future. So as Caitlin Clark steps back onto the court, she does so without one of her key teammates. And the questions surrounding the league's integrity are louder than ever. The WNBA is at a critical crossroads. Was this the turning point where the league finally addresses its physicality problem? Or was it just another chapter in a story that fans are quickly getting tired of reading? Let me know your thoughts down below.